Okay. So you saw the Ghostbusters.
I did.
In the movie theater.
I did see
Your significant other.
Uh-huh.
What did you think of the Ghostbusters?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. You sure did. Now, I did not go pay money to see it.
Mhm.
I was actually listening to one of the live stream episodes we put out on Doom where I actually said, I'm not going to pay money to see it, and I'll wait till I can pirate it. And I did. And I will say this, there is one positive. Camera recording of pirated movies is getting a lot better.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So the Ghostbusters 2016 all-female cast, a lot of controversy over the fact that it's all women in the roles of the Ghostbusters. This is not a sequel, despite what that first trailer would have led you to believe.
Right.
Okay, it is a total reboot with all new characters, but for all intents and purposes, the same premise. Okay? So what did you like about the Ghostbusters movie?
Did, and I know you disagree on this point, I thought it was funny.
Okay,
I
you
did.
thought it was funny.
I did straight up think that it was funny.
I didn't think it was funny. I mean, I believe what I said was it was like Paul Blart Mall Cop level comedy. Like an Adam Sandler movie, like a later in his career type of movie, as far as like the jokes and stuff.
Bedtime stories or Pixels.
I never saw Pixels.
I didn't see Pixels either, but
from what I've gathered from clips that I've seen and reviews that I've seen, it's probably in that same vein. Okay, it did really well in its opening weekend, and then kind of fallen off from there. It's 3 weeks out now, and it's not even playing in our local movie theater anymore.
Exactly, it's gone.
It's gone. I'm a fan of the original, a big fan of the original and of the sequel.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a fan of Bill Murray. I'm a fan of all the old Saturday Night Live alumni. And it wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but for me, it was still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And some of the issues that I have with the jokes is that they were so juvenile.
Yeah, very much
okay.
So.
Which there were, and I'll grant you that there were maybe a few juvenile jokes in Ghostbusters, the original. But in this one, and I think I texted you whenever I was watching it, that I was like, okay, I'm 10 minutes in, and there's already been a queef joke, a poop joke, and a fart joke in this movie. And maybe that's what you like. I don't know. You know, and hey.
I mean, I am secretly 5.5 years old.
Okay.
So.
But to me, it was just so far from the feeling that you get from the original. And the original's comedy was derived a lot from Bill Murray's dialogue and his just kind of sarcastic, I don't give a fuck attitude in that movie. And we didn't have a parallel to that character in this new movie. We
absolutely did not.
We didn't. And, you know, I would say, okay, so Melissa McCarthy's character is the Ray of the new universe. I don't remember the blonde girl. She's the Egon of the universe.
Yeah, Kate McKinnon.
Kristen Wiig should have been the Bill Murray of the universe.
See, and I feel like you might like have it backwards. I feel like Melissa McCarthy was supposed to be the Bill Murray character.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like that's what they were trying to do and failed
But
miserably.
Ray Stantz's character, he was the one who was all about the paranormal. And Bill Murray was just kind of like, I'm on for the ride. Sure, yeah, let's do this. As long as you take out the mortgage on your parents' home and we'll do it. And Kristen Wiig, her character, she didn't want anything to do with it at first. Because, you know, the whole book thing and she was trying to get tenure and all that. She didn't want anything to do with the whole paranormal thing. And it was, you know, she went to Melissa McCarthy's character. I don't even remember the characters' names in this movie.
Abby, I think.
So inconsequential to me. And that the Egon character, the girl, what's her name?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. she was just goofy,
completely insane.
Definitely no Egon, but she's supposed to be super smart.
Yeah,
but she's just super goofy about everything.
Yeah,
and the was Leslie Jones, is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and she obviously is the Winston character.
Yeah,
because she's not a scientist like Winston wasn't.
Yeah.
Her character, I didn't really have that much negative to say about her character.
Yeah.
With the exception of, why as a subway worker, why would you quit your job just to go join these girls that want to hunt ghosts? I mean, I understand that she saw a ghost. I mean, at least Winston Zedmore was out of work and was looking for a job. I need a job, and she was like, no, I'm going to work for you guys. And they're like, no, you're not. And then she's like, no, I am. And they're like, okay. But I want to talk to you about the real issue I have with the movie, and that is Chris Hemsworth. Okay? And I haven't talked to you about this at all.
No, we haven't talked about Hemsworth at all.
His character is so stupid.
Yeah.
And his jokes are so bad.
Yeah.
Okay? The My Cat joke, the thing about him taking the lenses out of his glasses because they were dirty, him covering his eyes when he hears a loud noise, was just so... I mean, it's like, does Kevin Feige, or no, not Kevin Feige, what's the dude, Paul Feig?
Yeah.
Does he have like a 5-year-old nephew that wrote these jokes for him? Because it was so bad. And it was like, what were they trying to achieve with that kind of character? Because the obvious parallel to his character would be Janine.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I don't take any shit. I'm just here. I'm just the secretary, whatever. Ghostbusters, that kind of thing.
What do you want?
Right, exactly. But you've got this character, Kevin, who's so inept at everything. And you're just like, how does he even...
breathe,
know how to ride a motorcycle? How does he? Yeah, exactly. How did he even live to be as old as he is without walking into oncoming traffic?
Exactly.
And so stupid. And I think about it. Okay, so who's the dumbest character in the original Ghostbusters? And that would be Lewis, right? But he wasn't even dumb.
He wasn't.
He was an accountant.
Yeah.
And he's obviously has Asperger's.
Yeah, socially inept.
Exactly. Yeah. He's socially inept, but he was at least smart enough and knew and was social enough that he had a party at his house.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, granted, they were all his clients, so it was tax write-off.
Yeah, but still, they came.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was like, I just think they missed the mark on that kind of, and there was no character. There was no Janine in that movie. There was no Sigourney Weaver's character in that movie. Which I understand this is a reboot. It's not a remake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I asked you a question before, as if this wasn't a reboot, if this was Ghostbusters 3.
If it was an entirely new intellectual property.
Well, okay, so yeah, that's a different question.
Oh.
So we'll say if this was not the Ghostbusters reboot, and this was Ghostbusters 3 with the same actors, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, let's say, pretend he's just not dead.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't remember his fucking name, Winston.
Oh.
He was in Oz.
I totally blanked on it myself.
I totally blanked on it, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Would you think that this did the universe justice if it had the same script?
Yeah, no. Not even close.
Absolutely not.
Not even close.
Okay, so here's another question. If this was a brand new IP, if Ghostbusters had never existed, would this movie be a hit or a flop?
I feel like it would... It probably wouldn't have even done as well as it did.
Right.
Which, I mean, we already know it's not even playing in our theater anymore. Didn't do great.
I could pull up Rotten Tomatoes and we can see where we're at.
Yeah, but and like the biggest driving force to getting people actually out there to see the new Ghostbusters was the controversy.
Right.
So if it was a brand new IP, it wouldn't have had the controversy. It would have been sold specifically and exclusively on Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy's star power, which I don't think would have done that well, especially given the quality of the jokes that they included in the trailer. I don't think that it would have done very well. If it was a brand new IP, if the original Ghostbusters did not exist, I don't think that it would have done well at all.
Do you think there's a ulterior motive amongst critics for this movie? Because I'm looking at it, Rotten Tomatoes is certified fresh, 73% from the critics, 57% rotten on audience score, which generally it's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Generally on movies that have a very low critic rating tend to have a higher audience rating, and this is one of the few instances where it is flip-flop.
It doesn't surprise me, though, considering the vehement vitriol that has been thrown at this movie since it was announced.
Yeah. And even saying that the trailer doesn't look funny gets you labeled as a misogynist.
Right.
Okay? I don't have a problem with them being women. I really don't. I don't care. No. But as a fan of the original story, as a fan of the animated series, it just wasn't Ghostbusters to me.
I feel like that is a perfectly reasonable thing to say about it. I do.
Right.
But and you know that we both love the originals, to the moon and back.
Right.
But I didn't think that I was going to say I didn't think that it tarnished the memory of the originals, and I don't, but it does shine a different light entirely on the originals, and it makes you think about it in a different way. And I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing.
Right. I just think it was unnecessary. Harold Ramis died. They should have just left it alone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of properties that they want to make movies of, and they want to reboot, and they want to remake, which really they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Some of them you just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Why do we need another Escape from New York with what's his name?
They're redoing what is it? The other Swayze movie. Is it Swayze?
Roadhouse?
No, not Roadhouse. Ghost? They already did Roadhouse.
Well, they did a sequel to Roadhouse. Did they do a remake of the Roadhouse?
I thought they did.
I gotta see that shit.
No, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's Kurt Russell, dude.
Yeah,
it's not Swayze.
I know. Because you'd said Escape from New York, and
yeah. Well, they're wanting what the fuck is his name? It's Leonidas.
Oh, really? Gerard Butler?
Yeah, Gerard Butler. They want him to be Snake Plissken.
Ugh.
Okay, and
dude
why?
Is terrible.
Right, and why remake that movie? First of all, that wasn't a huge hit. That's more of one of those cult classics. Yeah. All right, why remake Big Trouble in Little China? That movie is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
And I think they're talking about putting The Rock in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Are we that far out of original ideas that we have to remake movies that are great and then could very well end up tarnishing the memory of those great movies?
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in our other segment that, I completely blanked on it.
Okay.
I had a thought because it referred back to something we were talking about earlier, but...
All right. Well, on that note, we'll move on. So first off, would you recommend Ghostbusters 2016?
Again, wouldn't pay for it, but I would watch it again. Just to make sure that I didn't just get caught up in anything when I was watching it.
I would only recommend it if you're curious.
Yeah.
And that's how I was. I was just curious to see, is it going to be bad? Is it going to be surprising? To me, it was bad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't worth my time. In fact, I didn't even watch the last 10 minutes of it. I just left. Yeah. And it was just like, I'm not going to finish it.
You missed Sigourney Weaver's cameo then.
What?
Yeah.
I saw Dan Aykroyd's cameo, and I didn't think... I mean,
thought of the cameos, his was probably the best.
And I ain't afraid of no ghost.